guys, welcome to ETland. So it has been almost 2 weeks since I've received my ROG Ally, and because I was super busy last week, I didn't have time to play with it. But this week and during the weekend, I did have some time to play with it. So I think it's the right time for me to upload a 1 week review of ROG Ally. In this video, I'm going to talk about both good things and bad things I had with my ROG Ally and something that I wish it could improve and well, some other my experience that I would like to share during the first week. So without further speaking, let's get into the video. So to begin with, I will start talking about the things I don't like about it. The first and the most important thing is that it is not about ROG Ally itself, but about its accessories. So if you already own a ROG Ally, you probably noticed that it is very difficult to find a case to carry it. If you watched my previous video, you know that I'm living in Japan and I'm eligible to apply for a campaign that I can get a travel case, the official one. But guess what? On the second day, when I received my device and I decided to write a review to apply to the campaign, they said, oh, we actually only have 150 places for that campaign, and on the first day, it has already been taken, so we don't have anything available for you now, and we'll contact you through email afterwards. So I've been waiting for 2 weeks and there was no email at all. So today I just went on their official website and tried to apply to that campaign again. And guess what? They let me to apply, but they said, "Oh, actually we don't have any case available right now, and we will not provide any case anymore. So we will try to see if there's anything that we can fit for you." So I was shocked by the correspondence of the official site, and I think that is my biggest complaint because obviously we can't find any suitable case, and well, this is supposed to be a portable device and something that we could bring outside with us, and because there is no proper case, it is not really, portable because of having no case, and that is my biggest complaint. The second thing I'm going to talk about is the BIOS update. You all know what I'm talking about. There was a bad impact to the performance, and it actually somehow affects the performance of Ryujin's emulator. For me, I don't know if you had the same problem as well, but for me, it actually made some games not playable at all, so I have to switch to use the emulator. But then I also had a problem with the driver updates, so I had to update the AMD driver again in order to make the user emulator playable again, because they had some distortion on the screen in game, which those games are actually very easy to emulate. So those are problems that are very particular to Windows, and I think we have to accept it because it is a Windows device. So yeah, I had some problem with the BIOS update, and I think that is something that can be fixed. So I'm not like super pissed by that, but I do hope that they can fix all those problems as soon as possible. Third thing, I think this is a little bit personal and subtle, but I used to the Nintendo style of button layout, so I changed the layout of my ROG Ally to the Nintendo style. But the problem is when we use the armor crate, it doesn't change the enter button and cancel button as well as other buttons layout. So that means when you use Armored Crate, it will still apply to the button layout of Xbox, and if I want to press cancel, because I have switched every keys to the Nintendo styles, I will have to press the button for enter instead of cancel, and that makes me having problem every time because I have the perception that I'm using the Nintendo style, but it's actually not when I'm using Emerald Crate. So I will press the wrong button, I will press cancel instead of enter, and that's caused a lot of problems every time I have to use Emerald Crate. So, when I was using my Iron Nail Air, as long as I change the key binding to Nintendo style, it will just simply change everything. So even if I was using Iron Space, I can also apply that style to Iron Space, and that is actually a good feature that we don't have on our OG Ally, and I hope that they can somehow improve that in the future. Another thing is that some games on Steam may not recognize the gamepad mode. So the thing you have to do is go to the settings of that particular games and make sure you enable the Steam overlay for the controller is on. It's not on the default, but you have to allow the Steam overlay to be on so that your gamepad can be recognized by the games. So that was something that kind of made me worried when I opened the game, because I thought the gamepad mode was not working, but actually it's not. It's just because it wasn't recognized by Steam or the game. So I thought it wouldn't happen because it didn't happen on Iron Nail Air. So that was something I learned, and I feel like it is not 100% convenient, but it is not a big problem as long as you turn on that overlay. The last thing is kind of a personal preference. If you have been following me for quite some while, you know that I like modding and customizations. So I would put on skins or change the shells, whatever, or swap the buttons. So I've been looking up about the skins for our OG Ally, and they are definitely ugly in my opinion. So here are some examples. You see that the back where the grapes located, this area does not have skins. So if you are trying to apply skins, those areas are probably not suitable to apply, and those area will just get out and stand out because they are not in the same color as the skins. And if you watch my last customization video, you saw that I put on some stickers on my buttons and use some thumbstick grips, and that's all we can do. We do not have any other options. I did saw some silicone cases online that we can kind of change the color to black or blue or something, but I do worry about first the heat dissipation, and second, those silicone will not get the same good finish as we have currently. The finish of this device is super good, so I think if we apply skins onto it, it will just kind of worsen our experience, and I do not recommend to do so. So generally speaking, I think the space for customization of this device is very limited. I think we still can wait for some third-party buttons for us to swap, but I think that's pretty much about that. And yeah, kind of sorry for everyone who love customization and moddings. And now let's talk about something I like about our ROG Ally. First and for all, this is a powerful device which everyone knows, and it is actually even better than I expected. So I've been looking for something that can play all the platforms I enjoy. So basically our ROG Ally really plays all those Windows games, including those AAA games and also higher end emulation. By that I mean PS3, Switch, so on. and it just runs CMU perfectly. Some games for high end you require to use Yuzu, and some games you need to use Ryujins, but that really depends on the game's nature, and we are seeing improvements in emulation day by day, so that is not something that we have to worry about. And in fact, it really plays it also. It will just get even better in the future. And because of how good the performance is, I am actually planning to sell my INO Air because I only use my ROG Ally and I do not use any other device anymore. And this is actually struggling because it has been my favorite device for the last year, um, and I really like the appearance of it and how light it is and how pocketable it is. But in terms of performance, it really not on par with our OG Ally. So I think I can save a few bucks from selling it and then use them to buy new games. The second thing I really like about it is still like what I mentioned in my previous review. It is really light and comfortable to hold. I do not have a Steam Deck, so I would not argue whether it is more comfortable to hold in comparison to Steam Deck or not. But I can say if you own an INL device, you know that the finish of the device is a little bit plasticky, but in comparison, ROG Ally's finish at the back is more premium, and it won't make you feel very greasy, or it won't make you feel uncomfortable when you get sweaty. So this is one thing I really like it, and the weight balance of it is really good. So you don't feel like you are holding a 600-gram device because it really had that balance, and it is a lot more comfortable to hold it than that of the INO Air I have. And even a Nintendo Switch, it is actually if you have to hold the Switch, it is kind of flat, and you have to buy a case with grips in order to make the ergonomic better. So and by default with ROG Ally, you already have the grip, and for someone who have small hands like me, I really enjoy the ergonomic of this. The third thing is the screen. I really like the screen. I didn't know that I need such a big screen when I use my INO Air, but once I've tried this is amazing. Like most of the PC games are designed for PC, so it is not optimized for smaller screens, and sometimes the text will be very difficult to read in smaller screens. So 7-inch is actually just about the right size for PC gamings in most of the cases. And well, of course, I'm not an expert of screens. I do not know all those technical stuff, but I can tell that this is really vibrant and really clear. I've been using my iNow Air for quite a while. It has an OLED screen. Although this is not an OLED screen on the ROG Ally, I do not feel that much of a difference, and sometimes I can stay at home and play for hours, and my eyes do not get tired at all. So I really appreciate the screen quality. The fourth thing is about the buttons. I really like the buttons not being too hard. I know there are preferences depending on that person, but for me, this is just about the right distance and travel. Um, when I start using my INO Air, the buttons was super hard, and I had a hard time when I played those rhythm games. So I had to play a lot in order to soften all those buttons, and it was a disaster. But then when I switched to ROG Ally, the touching is just about right. Not too hard, not too soft. And the D-pad, I mean, like many people kind of don't like the design of it, but I mean, it's totally okay because I do not play any fighting games or any shooting games. So everything just fine for me in terms of the buttons. And I do appreciate the back buttons that allow me to freely assign them, because sometimes when you want to leave the full screen mode of some games, or you just simply want to close the games, that is very convenient. Last but not least, my favorite thing about this device is that the fan noise is super low. I mean, if I play some emulation like high-end emulation and AAA games, you can only hear a little bit of fan noise, and you won't care about that because you really don't realize that happening unless you really try to hear that fan noise and try to figure how loud it would be, but it is really low. So if you compare it to a Gen 1 Nintendo Switch or compare it to any other now device, you'll see that huge difference among them. Because, like, for example, when I play Zelda on my Nintendo Switch, it can get very hot and the fan noise would be very loud. But when I play games on my ROG Ally, I just do not realize the fan noise at all. And now let's talk about what I wanted to improve on. First of all, we can see that we still haven't received the latest BIOS update and some other updates for different kind of drivers that may not make our device to work perfectly. It would be great if we can have a schedule of roughly about when we can receive those updates and how they are planning to improve our device. So I think this is something the official can do, but I do know that it is very difficult to give such an announcement as the developers. So this is something I wish for, but it is not like a must. Second is just like what I explained at the very beginning of this video, the accessories and custom parts for this device are totally not enough. All those parts available are very ugly or very raw, so I understand that this is still at an early stage of the release for our ROG Ally, and if we wait a little bit more, there will be more parts coming. But I also see a trend on Steam Deck that most of these kind of products are made for guys, so there is not much of cute designs. For example, I've been searching for bags for Steam Deck, and those are really like guy stuff, and there is no kind of girly design of the bag. So I do really wish that they can pay more attention to female gamers, because I know based on my viewers, there are quite a number of girls buying this device, and I really hope that they can make some products that are more focused on the female market. So that's pretty much about my first week review. There will be a 1 month review and so on. So my next video would be a gameplay video with my cats, and I hope you enjoy it because that is a new type of video on my channel, and we will see you on my next video. Bye.